Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kinberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. Psychological crime fiction takes all sorts of different forms, and anytime there is an element of psychology in a crime novel, that can add a layer of suspense and interest. Let's take a look at a book like that today and turn the spotlight on Viviane Serfaty's Murders in December. Captain Thomas Sturm of the Gauche Criminal Investigation Department is called to the scene when the body of Catherine Pietou is discovered in the classroom where she teaches at the exclusive Madame de Vigny secondary school. From the beginning, it's clear that this is a case of murder, not suicide. So Sturm and his team begin to search for a motive and a killer. They soon find that Mademoiselle Pietou kept very much to herself. She was heartily disliked by her students. She could be rude and abrasive, and she was a perfectionist with no patience for sloppy first attempts at things. So it's possible that one of the students took dramatic action. There's also the fact that none of her colleagues speak well of her, although they all admit that she was profoundly knowledgeable in her subject area. Only one colleague was on slightly more friendly terms with her, but even he wasn't really a friend. Mademoiselle Pietou wasn't married and had no children. Her brother is set to inherit, but they're not really in contact with each other. There's no evidence either that she had a partner or a lover. Little by little, though, the team begins to learn a bit more about her. Then, the school's custodian, Rogelio Dominguez, is murdered. Now the team has to work out whether it's something about the school or whether the two murders are related in another way. There's a lot of pressure on the team, too, because the school is an exclusive one, and many of the students have wealthy, powerful parents. In the meantime, we meet 16-year-old Mélodie Delisle, one of Mademoiselle Pietou's students. She and her mother Alice have recently moved to Gauche, where Alice and her business partner Pierre Cauchy have built up a solid company. They become involved in the investigation when Thomas Sturm interviews Mélodie and her classmates. The story becomes a subplot as we learn more about these people. And as the story goes on, we see how that plot is linked to the main plot. And in the end, we find out the truth about the murders. So what are the elements in this novel? What holds it together and keeps it going? Well, psychology is a very important element in the story. And lest you wonder, no, this isn't a serial killer novel. Rather, it focuses on the psychology of the victim as well as the psychology of the killer. The novel shows how a person can be impacted by people and events, and how these things influence behavior. There's also a strong element of the police procedural. Sturm is a dedicated cop who works with a supportive team. There's very little of the backbiting that we sometimes see in police procedurals. He's had a string of girlfriends, but he's never really committed himself to a permanent relationship. That said, he's functional, does his job well, and doesn't spend his time at the bottom of a bottle. In the novel, we see how French police work, how they gather evidence and make sense of it, and a little about police structure. The story is told mainly from 3 points of view: Sturm's, Mélodie's, and Alice's, past tense mostly, but not completely third person, most of the way third person though. So we get to see how the investigation develops from these 3 different perspectives. Murders in December is the story of how 2 murders impact a community and the people who knew the victim. It features a solid look at the psychology of crime and a police protagonist who's determined to protect those who depend on him. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kinberg. Thanks for watching.